What's up, duelists? Alex here. Today, as you can see by the title, I will not be bringing you a deck profile. This time is a discussion, something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. It's a segment from a few of my favorite YouTubers. If you guys are newer to the YouTube scene, you might not know this, but there were quite a few of them actually, back in 2010, 2011, segments of this. A lot of people would choose a deck and they would work on it. They would show their subscribers how the deck worked and why they play certain cards. So that's what I'm going to do today. Like I said, this is a something that I've been putting on and off for a while now. But now that the game has changed again, and it made pendulum decks a little, as people would say, weaker in a way, since you can't really spam the field, or you can't really summon monsters from the extra deck as you might want, since the new master rule changed that. So today I am going to start a segment called Perfecting the Magicians. Uh, this is one of those decks that it got hit indirectly by the rules, by the game changing, but at the same time still very, very powerful. Just because the magician cards themselves are really good at what they do. They have destruction effect and they have their own pendulum effects, which are really, really good. So today I will go over the main deck cards and the engines that you can play and why I chose to play certain cards. As you can see, these are the main deck cards, the ones you want to keep in your deck at all times. You want to have between 2 to 3 of these cards in your deck, with exceptions of Lightwing Magician here and Oath Dragon, which I play one of each. The reason why I'm not playing any more copies of Lightwing Magician or Oath Dragon, yes, their scales are low, which the deck lacks, but you do not want to draw these. You want to just have them, or like have access to them by Wisdom Eye. She doesn't really do anything in your hand or in the scale. Her protection effect is irrelevant, honestly. I think I placed her in my scale once, and I've been playing this deck since it came out. So I wouldn't recommend playing more than one. Again, she's just a name. If you don't want to summon Zark at all, you don't have to worry. You can just like omit her, like you can just cut her and not bother with it. But because I am playing Zark and I still feel that Zark is very powerful, I'm gonna play the one, and I'm gonna only play one of Dragon Magician. I've contemplated playing two of Dragons, but it leads to brick hands, and I do not want that. Again, I said that the deck lacks low scales, and Oath Dragon is probably your best low scale, taking out purple poison out of the equation, of course. So Oath Dragon is a very good card. It's a recovery card. It helps you get Wisdom Eye back. Helps you get Harmonizing Magician or any of your guys back. Even though it's a very good effect, even better now than it was before, I'm still just gonna play the one of each. My two ofs are Black Fang and Harmonizing Magician. These are cards that I had at 3 when the new Magicians came out, but I decided to just cut it to 2 each. You don't really want to see them in multiples, and even though their effects are really good, they're not 3 ofs in my eyes. Even though, again, I've been wanting to play 3 of each since they came out. So I've been going on and off, and I found that 2 of each is perfect. Any more than that might clog a little. Another card that I have 2 of is Astrograph Sorcerer. This is another card that I would go from 2 to 3. Times I would really like 3 because opening with Astrograph Sorcerer, it plays around Ghost Ogre and like Twin Twister. So having access to it in your opening hand without searching is actually really good. But it bricks. So I believe that 2 is a very solid number for this card, even though it's probably one of the better cards in the deck. For the 3 ofs, the Magician one, I played 3 Wisdom Eyes, of course, it's a given. You have to play 3, no less. This card being at 3 makes the deck, honestly. There are so many times where I use this effect like 5-6 times in the one turn when I go for game. just because at 3 it's kind of nuts. And if you open Wisdom Eye and Astrograph Sorcerer, you can pull off some pretty cool combos that I'm sure you most of you are aware of that. So again, Wisdom Eyes at 3, Double Iris Magician and Purple Poison Magician are the last 3 of for the Magician lineup. These two are the two of the more important magicians. They have very utility effects, like high utility effects. Poison being able to pop monsters or cards on the field when it's destroyed, and Iris searching these pendulum graph spells and traps, which is they are very useful for the deck. Both of the spell and trap do very good things, and they help you like grind and beat your opponent and make sure that you win. Like if you open with the spell and trap, if you have that setup going for you, you're probably gonna win the game. Just because like every turn you pop a card and you search a card, so it's pretty good. So that's it for the magicians. For I have some engines here that I will be showing and going over. For this, I have the performable engine, as most people would call it. You still play 3 jokers. The reason you play 3 joker, it's because it's a copy of any card in your deck, except for Astrograph Sorcerer, of course. But Joker is probably the only normal summon you want to do in the deck, so having 3 is the best way. And I found that the best way to get to Joker, even though the Xyz would search it, Pendulum Sorcerer, it's the best way to access the Joker early game. Being able to Pendulum Sorcerer every other turn to net you another plus that lets you pop your magicians to claim their effects. It's very, very good, like much like the old Pepe days. So I would highly recommend playing the 2 sorcerers. And the reason why I like 2 instead of 1, it's because if you open Luster in a way to get Sorcerer, or Sorcerer in a way to get Luster, you can Pendulum Summon. You can destroy 1 Sorcerer with the Luster, then put the second Sorcerer in the scale, then Pendulum Summon the Sorcerer to pop the Luster to get a Joker from the deck. So basically to start your engine rolling. And that's a very, very good play in my opinion. And since these 2 guys are searchable by Duelist Alliance, it's actually very, very good and a very good combo that I highly recommend trying. Again, I am playing 3 jokers because you must. 2 sorcerers, perfect. 1, not so much. 3, it's a bit too many, but 2 seems to be working, and just the 1 luster. I was playing Master before the link rules kicked in, just because you can abuse your Synchro Xyz fusion spam with the Master. But now that you can't really do that, just the 1 luster works. And luster is still really good with these guys, by the way, since they all trigger on resolution whenever you multiply them, because they have been destroyed by card effects or destroyed period. You get to resolve their effects, which they're again very, very good at what they do. So again, I highly recommend playing these engine. For another engine that I recently add to the deck is the Rabbit into Dragon Pulse. This engine, it's actually a little sacky just because there's only 1 Rabbit. But the fact that Oath Dragon's a level 4 Pendulum Magician matters. If you open Rabbit in the Pendulum Graph spell, I forgot, I think it's Star. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Star Pendulum Graph and Rabbit, you can do some crazy plays. Since Rabbit will float into 2 Dragon Pulls, you will activate the Star Pendulum Graph, and then you would link up both Dragon Pulls for Mrs. Radiant, which we recently got in the new set. So it lets you get a Mrs. Radiant basically to free up 2 extra deck zones, and you get to search for a magician since a magician left the field. It's very, very powerful. And if you don't want to do that, you can, instead of making Mrs. Radiant, you can put both Dragon Pulse Magician and Xyz for Star Time Magician, which is really good. Again, it's like the old Dino Rabbit days where you can just like 1 rabbit into like a Lagi or Dolka, or you can just make a Giant X with 2 machines and search. It's just pretty good. So I recently added this engine. I wasn't playing it before because there was nothing that we could do with it. And again, it's very sacky. A lot of the times you would draw the dragon pulls instead of the rabbit, but that's okay since rabbit's a level 4, you can pendulum summon it, and if it's just dead, you can link summon it later on. But this is a very good engine, very high utility, and Dragon Pulse has a decent stats, 18, and its scale effect's pretty good. It helps you pop cards. So again, this is an engine that I highly recommend trying if you are not. It's been working out for me, and I really like it. And for one of the last engines, something that I was playing before the master rule kicked in, was the Odd Eyes Sky Iris engine. This was very, very good. It was such a good engine. Being able to pop your magicians, especially double iris in the early game, or even when you go first, because you can't really use iris effect if you're going first. Remember, you can't attack that turn, therefore you can't use its effect. But the Sky Iris engine would allow me to do that. And having access to Odd Eyes Fusion or even Odd Eyes in your first turn, being able to pop the Odd Eyes to search Performable Sorcerer or Wisdom Eye was just too good to pass. But I decided to cut it after the rules kicked in, just because it really doesn't do anything. Like the Odd Eyes that goes to the extra deck won't be able to be pendulum summoned since you only get one, so you usually want to occupy that zone for a level 4 magician for you to like synchro or exceed with harmonizing. And even though Odd Eyes Fusion is still a very good card, and Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon is a fantastic card, it would lock your zone, so it would just sit there negating once per turn, which is again so very good. But you usually want to keep that zone for the magicians and the synchros and exceeds that they will be making. So I decided to cut this engine, even though I like it. Maybe in the future I will add it back in if I want to toy around with something else. But as of right now, I decided to cut it. But again, if you are still playing this, it's perfectly fine. I really like this engine, and I would understand why you still want to keep it in the deck. For me, I decided to cut it, so that's not going to be an option for right now. And for the last engine, I am playing 2 Gofu, the Big Shadow. This card is pretty good. Again, yes, you cannot pendulum summon from your hand because it must be first special summon from your hand by its own effect. But it makes a free Decode Toker, which again, it frees 2 extra deck zones for you and 1 for your opponent, which is whatever, it's irrelevant. But the fact that it frees your extra deck and Decode Toker protects your setup. If you have Time Star and Star Pendulum Graph in the field, your opponent will struggle. So their only way to out that setup, it's through a Twin Twister or a Cosmic Cyclone. So if you have a Decode Toker, it will protect the spells and traps, and since Decode Toker can tribute one of the monsters it's linked to protect destruction, to protect your field from targeting. I'm sorry. So 2 Gofu is actually very, very clutch. If you're not playing it right now, I would highly recommend. I don't see Gofu being or staying at more than 1 soon. Maybe Konami is definitely going to do something to it. So for right now, I highly recommend playing 2 Gofus in your Magician deck. Because at worst, Gofu is a 23 beater that just sits there negating your opponent's thing. Or at best, it can be a 3800 beater that allows you to summon more things. So again, I would highly recommend playing Gofu. 3 seems like too much, and 1 might not be enough. But 2's been working out for me. For a lot of other cards, actually, my deck has a lot of 2-ofs and some 3-ofs. But again, this is the first installment in the new series that I will be calling Perfecting the Pendulum Magicians. I will be going over the spells, traps, extra deck monsters, and side deck options that you are going to need for this deck. Hopefully, you guys like what I'm going to be trying to do. If you guys have any questions at all about the deck, please feel free to message me. I will answer as soon as possible. Show me your list, post down below, or make a video response to this. I would love to see what people are trying with the deck nowadays. This is a deck that I enjoyed playing ever since the original Magician Pendulums came out back in 2015. So I'm gonna do everything I can to help the community, the Magician players, do better. And again, just let me know what you think down below. Make a video response with your deck. I would love to see that. Again, I will be posting more videos of this soon. Hopefully it's a long series. I will do everything I can, every other engine, every side deck, main deck option, even extra deck that we can. So hopefully we make this deck stay tier 1, because that's my goal, to keep the deck alive so other people can play it and play it better. Just because I have seen a lot of people not playing the deck correctly and playing less optimal cards. And as you can see by my lineup, I am not playing any of the other magicians just because they don't really do much. I believe that this is the perfect lineup and it's been working out for me, and hopefully it works out for you. So again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and check out my channel. I never really asked for this, but like the video. It shows me that you care and that you want me to keep making videos like this. Again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out my channel and like. Alex out. Peace.